With the continued development of society, the attention that people paid on the gender equality have reached a new level. The gender inequality does remain a major barrier to human development. The disadvantages facing women and girls are a major source of inequality. Or too often, women and girls are discriminated against in health, education, political representation, labor market, etc., with negative repercussions for development of their capabilities and their freedom of choice. However, for the time being, are men really at the dominant position? Do women have privileges that men don't have? Does this world have double standard for genders? Think about the short video shown at the beginning. It's a video on makeup tutorial by a boy, and there are only 3 comments, and all of them are about criticism. For women and girls, it seems like very normal for them to have makeup, hold hands together, elbow guided on street, and wear skirts. But if we put all these elements on men, how would the society and people react towards them? Will their attitude change? In order to investigate the hidden differences and double standards of genders, our team conducted a social experiment by making up one of our 4 members and see how people react. And let's check out.
That is so weird. I mean, as a student, as a male, I think it's unnecessary for us to do such a heavy makeup. I feel a little bit uncomfortable because I have never do such a makeup before, and I definitely think that at that day people will definitely laugh at me, and if somebody depressed that day, maybe they're going to punch me. So good luck to me.
So we asked Vincent to sit on the side of the street, pretending he's doing the makeup just in front of the public. And during this experiment in Korean street, we recorded that the reaction of passengers for whole 3 hours. Everyone passed by noticed his behavior, and at least half the people looked at Vincent weirdly and even stopped and observed him for a little while.
觉得很奇怪的，挺奇怪的，眉毛描得有点很浓，看上去像女孩子似的。
不是，我觉得一个男生然后坐在那里化妆，感觉真的很奇怪啊，就是有点，而且化那种妆有点诡异的感觉。
画的好看也是可以的，就不是正常能上街的妆，就挺
自然一点就好。
太在意吧，应该是化一点淡妆也是可以的，但是不要太妖艳就好。
这太浓了。
哦，好，没有。
我是不能接受的。
我会觉得这种男的真的很闷骚。
可以吧，是他们的自由。
Not only we conducted the experiment along Korean Street, but also we interviewed people from different ages, countries in Jiaotong University, Qibao the Wide, as well as the Joy City, a famous plaza in Shanghai.
比较少吧。
比较少。没有，这绝对不会接受。 有点奇怪。一般男的不太化妆的吧，而且男性比较粗糙一点的，女孩子比较细节的是比较喜欢化妆。
生活中呢，就是有点淡妆，我觉得也可以的，就是不要浓妆。
就男人喜欢男人的话，他如果是攻，他就画了浓一点；如果是瘦的话，就画了妖一点。
哦，应该是不习惯吧？这个因为从来都没有过吧，应该。肯定是接受不了的。
我看两个男的牵手不会有什么歧视，
就觉得有点娘而已。
那就藕断了，我也不会接受这样的朋友，本身我也不是这样的人。
Jeffree Star is a famous popular star in America. He is the man who would like to always wear makeup when he was walking on the street. So we used the pictures of him to show the passengers to share the opinions on him.
我觉得不能接受，生活中好像，和我们实际生活离得太远了。就是这个好像是有点像什么艺术行为。你如果在外面有什么展示活动，这个可以；就是在平时这个生活中间不能接受。
对，因为有很多人为了得名气啊，得一些粉丝啊，他就可能会炒作自己装扮成这样。
通过化妆来博取眼球。
对，现在信息时代嘛，就通过网络。
他想红，可能是。
我觉得给。
有人注意吧，也吸引眼球吧。
有这么一种人群，其实在也挺好的，给大家一种视觉冲击。
你就觉得他们是比较特别的。
对，也不排斥，但是在我身边，我是觉得不能接受。
After we've done the experiment and interviews on Korean Street and the Joy City with Chinese passengers, the interesting fact is that the younger the Chinese person we interviewed is, he or she will be more likely to accept the fact that men wearing makeup. Moreover, most of the Chinese people tend to be fallen into the double standards of genders, the masculinity in this case. They assume that only women can put on makeup because they should be beautiful. However, due to the characteristics of masculinity that all men should have, they definitely cannot wear any makeup. So from the interview, some people also give us the examples of something girls can do but boys cannot, like holding hands, wearing high heels and dresses. This definitely reflects that Chinese typical common opinions of men should always be men.
Although because of the limitation of the locations that we went to did the interviews, mostly in Shanghai and Hong Kong, which are both cities in China, we still got chances to ask people that are not originally from China to give thoughts on double standard for genders. Then we found out that maybe because of different religious perspectives, degrees of cultural diversity, or political perspectives of different countries, like Australia, India, and America, the results can be either the antithesis or a lot like we got from Chinese.
I think it's unusual, but if that's what he wants to do, that's okay. But where I come from, nearby in Manchester, quite a few, I've seen lots of men wearing makeup so yeah.
Well, my first impression or my first thought is that right away they are partners. It's different with girls. With girls, I would think they're either good friends before that being partners. With boys holding hands on the street, it's still okay. You know, they are maybe in love. They like each other a lot. It doesn't go against any of my personal beliefs.
Okay. It's very cute. Two boys holding hands. It's cute. Man, where? Wow.
Still China.
Well, if you could look at my Facebook and went back a couple years, you'll see pictures of me wearing a skirt and makeup. You've seen that? Well, you know, boys will be boys.
But
do what you want to do.
I think that's like...
I don't like men wearing makeup.
Why?
Because men are men. Makeup is for women.
My first impression? Personally, I don't mind it. But then again, I think it depends on how intimate they are. And I personally don't like public display of affection. But if they're just friends and they're holding hands, I personally have no problem with that.
Fine, totally acceptable, like there's no problem with that, like they're probably friends or they could be more, but that's cool. I think it is probably seen as like a more feminine thing to do, but at the same time I think like standards are changing now, and that's also totally cool for boys to do. In the UK it happens all the time. It's like
According to the interviews, we found out that people, especially from USA, UK, hold very opposite opinion with people from China. In order to explore this situation, we invited Lucy Fong, who has a master's degree on psychology from Adams State University and experiences life in multiple countries, to share her idea on this.
Well, I think that it has a lot to do, for example, for Chinese people, if they see two men holding hands, they are probably more sensitive about it. And I think it has a lot to do with the Confucius philosophy, the differences between men and women, and also like the relationship or the distance between individuals. I think that it has something to do with that. In terms of Western people, I think it also depends on who they are. If they are religious, for example, if they're Christian, they might have their own opinion as well. But if they're not, and they're really open-minded, they may not have a problem with it either.
So you think that definitely related to a cultural perspective?
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So after conducting so many experiments and interviews on global issue of double standards in genders, especially focusing on the issue of men wearing makeup, the results turned out to be quite interesting, that men wearing makeup can be accepted by more people, not only in Western countries but also in China. However, the interviews show that Western people tend to be more optimistic about this issue, whereas the Chinese are more stubborn with the rule of the man should be man, which also refers to the masculinity. We found out that if the country is more developed, the people are more open-minded towards this problem. Besides, when people were asked about the things only girls can do, people gave the answers like holding hands, crying, wearing high heels. All these answers belong to people think that men should be manly, but this old-fashioned opinion has been gradually replaced due to the developing society.
I think, first of all, I think that the original source of double standards probably comes from gender inequality. Well, there are things that girls can do, boys probably are not supposed to do. For example, wearing skirts and dress up and wearing makeup. But then again, there are things girls are criticized more harshly than boys. For example, girls' virginity is valued highly in China, but then the boys not so much, I guess. I think that, well, first of all, I think that for the reason why we are intolerant of girls holding hands, it has a lot to do with, I think in China we have this Nushu tradition. That's where in the ancient times women could share their own sacred language, they can build friendship. And I think maybe it has something to do with why people are now tolerant of women holding hands and be close together. And then again, I think that people or women are criticized more harshly in terms of their sexuality. I think that it has a lot to do with the Bible, because in ancient times or on the Bible it says that Eve and Adam and Eve, they're at two different levels, and Adam is viewed has a higher position than Eve. So I think another reason why boys holding hands are not very encouraged in China probably has a lot to do with men's masculinity. I think that that's a big issue, because if you hold hands, if you dress up, then that means you're kind of feminine. So I think that's another reason why.
According to Ms. Fong, in this continuously developing society, as the science and technology keep reaching a whole new level, it will become more globalized, which means that no matter which country you're from, you are very likely to get in touch with people with other cultures more than the former generations. And for the discrimination of gender, we will not only think about women, but start to care about men. So we believe that the balance of the social status of both genders will be further improved in the future. And maybe one day, the gender inequality will be eliminated ultimately.